At its most basic, Asana is a task manager, enabling you to set deadlines, prioritize, and make progress toward your most important goals. Which is why today's video is going to be deep diving into everything tasks, including creating tasks, task settings such as assignees, due dates, and description, and how to use tasks, including when working with other people. And all of that's coming up very soon. Well, hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Andy, a property investor based in Maidenhead. I help business owners become more productive through technology. So if you're new to my channel, please take a second to hit the subscribe button and notification bell. It really helps the channel and you won't miss any of my future videos coming up in my Asana Basics course. Before we start, I'm just going to cover the free account tasks features today. Since this is my basics course, I'm assuming you will be on the free Asana plan. And in a future video, I'll go over the more advanced task features if you pay for them. So let's get into my Asana account and let's take a look. So the first thing I wanted to cover today is just how to create tasks. And in Asana, there are lots of different ways that we can create them. And normally I create them through projects. So first on the left hand side, we've got lots of different projects and I'm in the list view at the moment. And the first way is very easily where it says add task. We can literally just click on the add task here, give it a test name, and so test task 2, and then you can press return and that'll add that in, and then you can enter another task. Also, you'll see at the top here, we've actually got the add task button. So if I click on add task, again, it does the same thing and it'll add it to the first section here. So that's how we do it in list view. We can also then go to board view. So if I just click on that here, and we can see our various columns which relate to the sections, and then underneath each column we've again got add task. So let's create task 3. Or we can also, you've got these pluses at the top of each column, and we can click on those and again it'll add a task, but this time it'll add it at the top. So in Asana they always give you a couple of different ways to do the same actions. Now we're here in board view. If you want to know more about board view, so how to use it and some use cases, and do check out my earlier video. There's a link up above and I'll add it to the description as well, so do check that other video out. Another way that you can add tasks, and you can do this from any part of Asana, is using the quick link little plus here on the right hand side. So if I just click on the plus icon, straight away we can go to task and it puts a little pop up here. So this test task 4, but this time it's not putting it into a specific project unless we go and select here. So I can just, we've got our first project, so I can just go and add it in there manually, and then create the task using that plus button. Then lastly, you can also add tasks through using a keyboard shortcut. So if you just go in here, I'm just going to press Tab Q on my keyboard here. So we've got Tab Q. So just go and add that in. And that's another way that you can just go and add a task in. So let's put here, we've got test task 4, create that task. And that's another way that you can really easily just go and add tasks in Asana. The next thing itself is the task pane. So if I go back to the list view, and the task pane is where you go and add most of your information. So if I hover over test task 4 here, we can see we've got a details, a little label here on the right hand side. So if I just click on that, it then brings in this pane where we can add all of the relevant information. So at the very top, we've firstly got the name of the task. So quite often you'll have this as a verb. So for example, it may be write content for marketing plan. So you can just have a title in here. Then next down, we've got the assignee. Now, Asana only lets you have one assignee per task. So imagine that I wasn't in this one. It's got no assignee, so we can just either use the keyboard shortcut Tab A, and we can see all of the various people here, and we can just go and select somebody, and they will actually then get a notification in their inbox that they have been assigned to a task. And you can see here also that we've got where do you want to actually, and which section do you want to put it in. So this is their my tasks. So you can say, do you want to get into new tasks, do today or do later. Just a little thing also, I said that Asana doesn't allow you to have two or more assignees on a task. However, what you can do is down the bottom here, add collaborators. So if I click down the bottom here where we've got the little person sign, and if I add in somebody else, so if I search for myself in one of my other accounts, again, that will notify the other person that they are part of this task and they will see any updates. So any comments, any tags, any changes to the task, although they're not the person responsible for completing the task, they will be notified of anything related to it. So that's a really useful way to bring other people into tasks if you're working as part of a team. The next part is the due date. So often really important that you add a due date, and there's a couple of different things that you can do in here. So firstly, we can just select a normal date. So it's currently got this empty ring here because that's the current date, the 13th of March. And then I can hover over and choose when we want this task to be complete by. So for example, the 18th of March. So if I just click on it, Friday, and then that's set the date. Okay, and then that will then appear to let me know that I need to do that task on Friday. But something else that's really useful is, but sometimes we want to have tasks that recur, so they repeat on a certain basis. So imagine this was write the content for the marketing plan each week. We've got maybe a post that goes out. If we go into here, into the task, we've got these circular arrows. And if I click on those, we can then set a repeating schedule. So let's say every Friday, weekly, we want this task to happen, and you can see that it's now suggesting that it will repeat on the 21st, the 1st, and the 8th, etc. Maybe it's every Tuesday and every Friday, or perhaps we want it to be every day or monthly, yearly, periodically, custom. All of the options are in here, and so you can just set whatever schedule you want for it to repeat. So if I just click repeat, we're going to keep it on the weekly, on a Friday. And then when I hop off it, we've now got next to Friday, we've got this circular arrows just to indicate that this is actually a recurring task. Now, if you are wanting to include information as part of tasks, you then add it in here into the description. And you can add quite a lot in here. So firstly, we can just put write based on the current schedule, just normal free text box to add into. And you've got your typical formatting. So we could perhaps add that we want this to be bold and underlined. You can also add bulleted lists. So you've got 1, 2, 3, etc. You can also add attachments and links here as well. So you can add plenty of detail into the description. But something that's really useful is you can tag other people. So if you just type the @ symbol here, then I could tag in myself, but in one of my other accounts. So very easily there, just tag somebody if you want to get their attention, and then that will then go and appear in their inbox. But also really useful is that you can also go and tag in other tasks. So you can see we've got test task over here. So if I just type in the @ symbol again, but then just test task. And so you can actually cross-reference other tasks. And if I just click on that, it'll then take me through to test task 4. So if you want to just reference and interweave things, use different links, that can be really, really useful in the description. In tasks, you can also add attachments. So just got the little paperclip here. If you want to include Word documents or PDFs, etc., you can just go and use the attachment. Now, something that doesn't appear in here that you also may want to include are a couple of things. Firstly, if you just press Tab P, it actually brings up the projects section. So we've currently got it in our first project, which we can already see on the left-hand side, but we can also add it to other projects. Now, this can be incredibly powerful. I'm not going to get into it today. I'll do a separate video on it. But yes, if it's not in any project, literally just press Tab P and you can go and then add other projects for this task. In the same way, if you press Tab T, that brings up tags. Now, this is another way just of categorizing your projects, and you can just add these as you want. So for example, this may be a goal rather than a specific task. So I could add a quick tag. And then we've also priority as a default one from Asana as well. And the last one is we've got down here add subtask Or again, if you use the keyboard shortcut Tab S, and then that'll bring you down. And then if you want to break down a bigger task into some of its more key elements, we could have action 1, and then we've got action 2, just in here, action 2, and then we've got action 3, for example, to add these subtasks in. Something that is also I use very often with my team is about liking things. So at the top we've got a little thumbs up. So liking is a really useful way to let other people know that you've seen things. So imagine that somebody else created this task and they assigned you to it. Rather than messaging them to say thanks, I've got it, you could literally just go and click the little thumbs up. One person has liked it, and we can see actually also here on the left hand side we can see the little thumbs up. So it's just a quick way for people to know that you've seen things. It can be the same on the comments down the bottom if people are writing things, and you can also use it for voting. So if you had different options perhaps in a list, and you could say vote for your favorite just by liking it, and then different people across your team could upvote certain perhaps tasks or pieces of content, and you can use the likes as just a little tally to see which ones are more preferred by your colleagues. So that's likes. And then the last thing is just duplicating. So if you've got a task that you want to manually just go and recreate, you can go to the 3 dots, and we've got duplicate task here. Decide what we want to call it. So let's call it exactly the same thing, but rather than each week, let's just call it for April. And which bits do you want to copy? So some things may be irrelevant. So for example, the attachments, perhaps we've got different attachments for April. The subtasks are going to be the same, and we can just go create new task, and it has a bit of a think. And then we've then got the duplicate task there. We can see with the same 3 subtasks as well. So that's how you duplicate them. So in terms of how you actually use tasks with other people, a lot of things will happen through this commenting box down the bottom. So you may create a task, and then there are queries, there are asking for updates, there are people giving more information. We could chuck in some attachments or some pictures, and that can all go into the comments box at the bottom. Now, a bit of advice: if the information needs to be used to complete the task, and it's sort of like attachments, I would put it into the description, because if you put things into the comments at the bottom, it can get lost as more and more comments are added. But just here, again, it's another free text box in the same way as the description. So you could say, hi, thanks for the update. And then Andy, so you could just go and add a few notes. Again, you can add attachments as well. You can even record little videos these days, or add some emojis. So all the usual sort of bits you're used to in text editors, and then just go comment. And you can see it says 2 people will be notified. And then other people could read that comment, and as I just said, just go and quickly like it, so that they know that they've received the information. Once you've completed a task, or perhaps you want somebody to review it, so for example, this is currently assigned to Andy Test, somebody could go and write the content, but now it needs to be reviewed. So quite a good way is just to literally click on the assignee, change it to somebody else, and then go. You can see that it's been reassigned, and then just send a little message. So at Andy, oh, not that one, the other one, Andy, and then we can go, please review content, and then we can just go and leave that as a comment. That's sort of the basics of tasks. Just one final little tidbit that I wanted to share with you is that, for example, imagine that we've got several tasks and we wanted to go and change the assignee or the date quite quickly. What you can do is, if you just click on your first task and then hold down on Apple, I'm on the command button, check out what it is for Windows. You can then just click another task and another task, and all 3 of them are now selected, and we've got this little bar that's appeared at the bottom. So we've multi-selected them, and then we can do various things with them. So for example, if I click on the 3 dots, I could go and set a due date for all 3 at the same time, let's say for the 18th, and you can see they've now all changed to Friday. Or perhaps I want to go and maybe I want to go and say who's responsible for them. So if I go assign, and then in here I can go and say, well, I'm going to be responsible for these. I'll go and click on that one. And now all of my name has appeared next to all three of those tasks at once. So, and I can just click off them. So that's a really quick way to go and modify and move tasks in batches rather than having to do it one at a time. So just remember to hold down that command key or the Windows equivalent. So that's been a comprehensive overview of tasks in Asana. If you've got any questions, then do feel free to ask me in the comments below. And there will be more videos like this coming up every week. So make sure you like this video, hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the future tasks, videos coming up in my Asana Basics playlist. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.